Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the intense, psychologically brutal opening chapter of the dark fantasy novel Bend Her. We're going to break down exactly how a princess's entire world is shattered and then reforged in the fires of her captivity.
And bam, right from that very first line, the story just throws us headfirst into chaos. This isn't just about waking up in a dark room. It's about total sensory deprivation. It's about being completely disoriented, and it immediately sets a tone of fear and absolute vulnerability.
So first things first, let's get a handle on our protagonist, Princess Lisanne, so we can really understand the gut punch of her new reality.
You see, Lisanne is royalty, but her life has kind of been a paradox. She's used to the dark, sure, but only the safe, controlled darkness of her protected chambers. Her whole life has been lived inside a gilded cage, where she was taught to project strength. The key thing to get here is that she's never actually had to be strong, just appear that way.
And the contrast between her old life and her new one, it is just jarring. Every single thing that made her safe and important is ripped away and replaced with its cruel opposite. That gilded cage has become a cold stone dungeon, and her status as precious has just vanished into neglect. So faced with all this terror, what's her first line of defense? It's not magic, it's not a weapon, it's her conditioning. This little bit of internal monologue tells you everything. Her pride, that royal programming, it's the only shield she has left. It's an act of defiance, even if she's the only one there to see it.
Next up, we see how that resolve is tested. And it's not through a direct confrontation, but something way more twisted. Just crushing, silent neglect. This timeline just perfectly shows her slow slide into desperation. Every action is a tiny attempt to grab back some control. Getting the bag off, drinking the water, even casting her one weak spell. But every single attempt is met with nothing. Absolute silence. That failed light spell is especially brutal. It's a literal scream for help into the darkness, and the darkness doesn't even answer.
This is such a chilling realization, and it really gets to the core of her captor's strategy. This isn't just neglect, it's a calculated psychological attack. See, you can fight back against physical pain, but attacking someone's very sense of self-worth, that's way more insidious. We get our sense of who we are from how others see us, right? So by treating her like a forgotten object, he's trying to make her believe she was never precious or royal in the first place.
So, after 3 long days of that soul-crushing silence, the door finally opens, and this brings us to the first incredibly tense face-to-face between the captive and her captor.
The picture we get of this guy immediately paints him as, well, terrifying. He's not just some random goon. Those scarred arms tell a story of violence, and his whole look just screams cold, calculated control. Make no mistake, this guy is a predator.
And his first words, they're not a threat. They're not a demand. They are a pure psychological jab. He uses her own title against her, mocking her, and right away he's questioning if she even deserves basic human dignity. This was never about ransom. It's all about power.
This back and forth is just brilliant because it shows he's playing a completely different game. Lisanne tries to use the only tools she has, appealing to decency, talking about her family's power, offering money, but he just takes every single one of her arguments and systematically tears it apart. He's not just her jailer. He's taking her entire worldview apart, piece by painful piece.
So, with all her arguments just completely dismantled, the fight shifts from a war of words to a direct, cruel, and just profoundly humiliating choice.
And this line, this reveals the true horror of his whole philosophy. It's not about using brute force. It's about slowly, deliberately eroding her will until she becomes an active participant in her own degradation. The ultimate form of control isn't making someone do something, it's colonizing their mind until they choose to do what you want. He's promising to corrupt her from the inside out.
And here are the steps, this chilling, escalating ladder of degradation he lays out for her. He gives her this impossible choice. It's a direct assault on the foundation of who she is, her royal pride. And he pits it against her most basic animal instinct, survival.
And this, right here, brings us to the climax of the chapter. This is the moment where Lisanne's choice doesn't just decide her fate, it completely rewrites her identity and her reason for living.
You can almost see the gears turning in her head here, transforming this moment of complete degradation into a cold, strategic calculation. The shame is there.
for sure, but a new logic takes over. The question shifts from, can I live with this shame, to how do I make sure this secret dies? And the answer is terrifyingly simple. Her tormentor cannot be allowed to live to tell anyone.
This is the fundamental power shift of the entire chapter. Her submission, the act of crawling onto that table. It's not a defeat. It's the first move in a new game. It's her adopting a new, deadly motivation. It is her first step on the road to revenge.
And she tells him. She says it right to his face, even as she's about to do this incredibly humiliating thing. That one line just completely flips the dynamic. She's no longer just a victim and he a tormentor. Now they are two enemies locked in a long, deadly game.
And that's really what this chapter forces us to think about, isn't it? It suggests that sometimes the biggest act of power is knowing when to let go of your pride. Not as a loss, but as the price you pay to forge yourself into a weapon for the future. The real question is no longer whether she'll survive, but what she'll have to become to do it.